Hey guys, Aspa here again, and today I'm gonna take you on a little trip through Plaguefall on Mythic Plus as a Holy Priest. For this run I'm using a plus 17 key that we did a couple of weeks back with my guildies. It's Fortified, Sanguine, and the annoying thing that comes around you that interrupts casting. I'd never remember the name of the affix. Anyway. So, a few things that are important here. The first pull, obviously, you have the big guy and the small guys. We actually do a small mistake here, or I make a mistake, where our red paladin dies. I should have moved closer earlier to make sure that I can heal him. And here he gets, or he disappears here. Partly also their mistake, because I think they were stacked up, but I could have healed him earlier, which would have meant that I could have kept him alive there. Also another thing, when you're running Sanguine, having the knockback is really useful. Just keep in mind that the knockback is super strong. Like, it literally sends people to another dimension. Important things, of course, you're running with Apotheosis. You want to have Divine Star. Halo is a bit too widespread for this dungeon. Then, like these pulls, you just want to stop the Fungal Mancers from casting, especially during Fortified weeks, because they do a lot of damage. And yeah, just make sure that you're dodging Sanguine and you're not standing in anything. Then we get to these blobs. Basically, the best way to deal with them is to pull them all at once, but that demands some action from your whole team. You need to make sure that they die really quickly and they stay the same place. You don't take any stacks, because when they die, they leave bad stuff on the ground, so you need to avoid that. And of course, now with Sanguine, you can see me doing a Shining Force here to send them away from Sanguine, so no trouble happens. So, and of course, if you're using the knockback in Sanguine, you want to make sure that you get in and get out as soon as possible, because it starts to tick quite hard. Then about the first we can check the Pride here. Yeah, make sure you CC the little ones, and so this is a plus 17 Pride. Especially when you're doing a bit higher keys, getting to the over 15s, you want your DPS to either use cooldowns on Prides, or then you need to have like pretty high damage overall in general on your group. Because it really starts to hurt on higher stacks. A full Divine Hymn is also very good, which I'm gonna do next, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, generally speaking, you want to hymn around 10-11 stacks, so you have the bonus healing from it towards the end, and especially if your DPS isn't that high. You can follow up the Divine Hymn with Apotheosis, just have everybody nearby so you can hit them all with Sanctifies, and then just continue with the Serenity heal spam with Flash Concentration, legendary. Obviously during bosses, move away from the frontal, it really hurts. Generally speaking, just try to stay close, especially when he does the knockback, and that does damage. You don't want to get thrown too far, so people aren't on your rage for healing. Then let's go forward a bit. These guys just avoid the vomit thing. And I'm actually gonna show you that we run into some issues here. Because you're gonna notice later on that we have 10 deaths or something when we finish the instance, but yeah, so during this pack, our red just gets annihilated. We didn't wait long enough for our tank to get all the aggro, and then same goes with our Demon Hunter. At that point, we're kind of fucked. It's really hard for me to start piling up again, especially I didn't have Guardian Angel available. Luckily, we didn't have a full wipe. We were able to kite this out with the mage, and we had these mobs exploding, so that actually helped us a ton. So we were able to survive, but these things happen, and you know, we're not perfect, and I want to show these moments too, so you can expect, you know, things to go wrong every now and then it's just a way to kind of handle it here. Luckily, we were able to come back from it basically and not get a full wipe, because a full wipe is always it's a minute and a half more. Then there's another mistake here. Oh, actually, let's go back a bit. So what happens is that we do this pull. Guys are getting stacks up and the detonation goes out. And then what happened is that we had a bug where after the guys died on the previous pull, the Plague Rock from the beginning just ported here and fucked us over completely. But, you know, happens. So we had a full wipe. But obviously then coming up from that normal pull, we have another Pride. So here you're going to see a full hymn from me soon. I usually start to hymn around 10-11 stacks, depending a bit on the DPS who I'm running with. And nowadays the buff that we got to the healing buff to the Divine Hymn is really strong. So you got 20 seconds of plus 20% healing done, which is really nice. Nothing too fancy here. Let's get towards the next boss. Again, same thing with the Pride. Oh, and if you're Necrolord, when you use Fleshcraft and go around the puddles that the blobs leave, you get some buffs for your team. So keep that in mind. Another Pride. The packs. Go boss. Let's go back. So we start the boss here around the same time when these guys die, or directly because he jumps in. Remember to walk over these Metamorphosis guys. They hurt you a lot, so be careful. In here, it's quite important. The tanks take somewhat quite a lot of damage every now and then. When you get the blob debuff, just make sure you dispel it instantly. And yeah, this one that you can see on the tank now, just dispel it instantly. And it's quite straightforward after that, to be honest. In the next phase, you're gonna see the jump soon. Your DPS should take care of the Plague Bomb. You can just damage the boss, make sure that everybody's topped up. Your dispels quickly, and now he does this jump thing. Dodge those green swirlies, they one-shot you. So just make sure you strife away whenever the boss is jumping around. And the blue debuff, not this one, the other one that comes on the tank every now and then, that's minus 45% haste. So you want to dispel that too. Sometimes you get those two at a time, just use mass dispel on them. Then the next pull is, I'm not sure if it's the hardest, but it's the most annoying one, especially in a Fortified week. Not that much base and a lot of damage coming in, but it's kind of just smack and slash, heal as much as you can. There's a lot of movement involved. Using Apotheosis just to get a few more instant casts is actually quite valuable, because you won't need Apotheosis for anything else for a while. So, you know, if you use your Serenity, you use your Sanctify, you use your Circle Feeling, and people are low, just pop your Apo to get 2 instants. The downside is that you lose a GCD, which means that you're not healing for a bit, but at the same time, the one Serenity and Sanctify that you get out instantly after that could be the difference maker. So don't be afraid to use your cooldowns in general, is what I'm trying to say. And if there's a heavy movement involved and there's nothing else you can do, just up. Then these annoying guys, again, you can use your Shining Force to do that, and it's not really ideal. You don't want to shoot the mobs to China. You kind of want them to be around for your DPS to be able to kill them fast enough. So that was a little bit of a mistake from my end. But then again, if you see the Stealthlings and there's nothing else there to kind of help you out, you can just run to the Stealthlings and use Fear. That'll stop the ambush. So as you see what I did here. because those will kill you. If they jump on you and you're dead, simple as that. There's nothing you can do about it. Luckily there's only now 3 because of CC, and half of them were already dead. But if for some reason they all would have jumped, I would have been instantly dead. So just keep in mind and keep those little spiderlings in mind and try to avoid them. Next boss. Again, well, another Pride. You see me doing a full Divine Hymn again. I did lose my flash concentration stacks, which isn't ideal. I've just popped a mana potion, because as you can see, the Pride is only at 40%, 20 stacks. I'm out of mana. So, still things matter. Symbol of Hope, AMZ, that, you know, allows me to use Symbol of Hope. So it comes down to communication. When this happens, that the Pride gets to 20 stacks and you're all low, you just need to communicate with your team and don't panic. We still had Darkness there to use, or I think we actually used it earlier by accident, but yeah. So you can also juggle your CDs from your DPS players like Antimagic Zone and Darkness, but tell them to not pop them before the Pride is at least 50% and the stacks are like 13, 14 plus, because if you use everything early, then you have nothing to save you when it actually starts to hurt a lot. In here, just stick to, during Domina Venom Blade, just stick to your group to avoid the solitary debuff. If you get targeted with that stuff, get out. If not, just make sure that they're topped off as soon as it happens. If they don't have immunity, obviously our Paladin bubbled there now. Then we get towards the last boss. There's nothing really interesting here in the sense. Just some trash. This one on Sanguine, just make sure that, you know, they're not running into Sanguine and healing to full. The Ickus Bileface guy is a bit annoying because he teleports to Sanguine every now and then and you just can't get him out of there. And it takes a year to kill him, but yeah. Then this boss, the last boss, can be a bit tricky. The easiest way to deal with it is to, when the infection rain comes, you dispel the weakest in the group. In our case, it's the mage. I can keep myself alive, and it's the paladin has bubble. You know, the tank can get it away from himself. So I actually only need to heal myself and the demon hunter when we get to the phase with the infection rain. During this phase 2, especially in Mythic Plus, like the tentacles come a lot faster than in like normal or heroic. So just use your feathers to move, and move early, because it one-shots you always. So make sure you don't get hit by anything here. Same thing, don't go near the tank, especially when there's the malignant spawns nearby. They do the circle around the tank that does a lot of damage. If you get a hit, you probably die on hierarchies instantly. But yeah, that's pretty much it about Plaguefall. It's not super hard. There's annoying pulls, but they don't do that much damage. It just basically mistakes that can kill you, as it always goes in Mythic Plus. And the bosses on Tyrannical do a lot of damage. So on Tyrannical weeks, like a plus 15 Margrave here, you might want to even dispel someone at 3 stacks to get your dispel back earlier, if you're doing a high Tyrannical. So you rather have one person with 1, and then you can dispel another earlier, especially if they don't have immunities or something to battle with themselves. But then again, in my opinion, this is a really fun dungeon boss to heal, because there's quite a few things to do and quite a few things that hurt, and you also need to move. So if you're a good player, you can get through it well, and it kind of tests you. So, but anyway, that was it about Plaguefall. I hope some of this helped you out a little bit, and if there's anything you need to know, please let me know. See you in the next one. Have a good one. Ciao, ciao.